In previous tutorials, we've used the prearranged schemas that were available in the repository. Now that would be fine if one of those schemas actually met all of your requirements, but that's pretty unusual. So what we want to do now is look at a way of adapting a schema so it meets your needs. To do this, I'm going to click on Define Roles. And in my example, I have a role that is the IT technician. It's currently locked. There's a schema allocated to it. And what I want to do is to edit the schema. By clicking on that, I'm now going to see the design screen for the schemas. This is made up of two parts. In one area, we can actually see the schema completely on the screen, and on the other side we can actually see the different elements in terms of levels. So these three criteria are there in the level 3 goals, and I can look at the level 2 goals, which are all here, and then I can look at the level 1 goals, which are the ones on the inner circle. If I wanted to change the weighting of a particular criteria, that one's in level 3. So what I would do is I would click on the editing pencil, and this enables me to see the various weightings and situations that have been allocated to that. So currently we've said that that is on a multi-state, it's on a scale between distinction to fail, and we're saying that the default, the benchmark is merit. I'm going to make the benchmark distinction. And I'm going to say that I want a copy of their certificate in there. Now HR would normally have a copy. This is really purely for example, but I'm then going to see save. Okay, so that's altered the states of that particular criteria. If I wanted to do something with this one, this is a level 2 criteria. We're looking at any failed tests. So we'll look and see if we can find that one. That's in here. I'm going to edit that. Any failed test. Now, you'll notice that there are two phases here. The calibration phase is for setting the values and the weighting for that particular criteria, or there's the design phase, which allows me to alter the name of the criteria or the goal, and to be able to show whether the goal values are entered manually by the employee or whether it is automatically generated by other goals that are feeding it, or whether it is dependent on something else. So here we have a multi-state value, and the multi-state value is yes or no. It could just as easily have been pass or fail, or distinction to fail, or I could write something of my own there by managing those states. So I'm going to leave it on yes and no. Go into the calibration phase and have a benchmark value, and I'm going to say that I want 2 documents given for that, and I'll say save. Okay. Now you'll notice that in the design screen the goals are different colours. The yellow goals are feeding into the schema, and the purple ones are forces and goals that actually draw away from the score. So here we've got domain knowledge. The main feeders for that are going to be acceptance and basic qualifications, but drawing away from that might be evidence of any failed tests. Now I find the schema laid out like this is fine for the design end, but when employees are looking at it, I think this is too complicated. So I would, after designing and making my alterations, wish to actually close the schema down so it's now at its most simplistic, and then I would save that and close. If I wanted to view and verify that schema, that is now verified and okayed. If I now wanted to edit the schema again, the next time I open it, I see the very simplified view. So now to expand a branch, I would just click on the small icon here and that will expand it. Close that one for the minute. On this one, you'll see that there is another plus, which means there's another level, and that makes that easy for me to focus on. That's the end of that tutorial.